What's up, guys? It's Rain City MMA. Your boy Bryson here with
Joey.
And today we're breaking down UFC Fight Night, Moicano versus Duncan. Sorry we didn't hit last week. Crazy card. We were there in person. Man, that Seattle crowd brings it. We were there last year, and this year delivered too. What do you think, Joey?
Yeah, guys, 9 finishes. I mean, I predicted 7. I can't even believe how the fights ended up, but I'm so glad everyone got a finish, and it was a great fight. It was honestly just so fun. So let's go Seattle, and I love UFC.
And RIP Macy Barber.
All right, guys, the first fight we're breaking down is a middleweight matchup between Azamat Bakoyev and Tresean Gore. Gore coming in at a plus 425 dog, and Bakoyev at a minus 600 favorite. Guys, Bakoyev, he's a beast. You know, he pops out a super clean jab, and he's very heavy on top control and super good at it as well. His last fight against Belgori, you know, it was a tough fight for him, and he ended up losing a decision or a late knockout. I forget which one it was in Canada. Yeah, he got KO'd in Canada. But, I mean, he couldn't get the wrestling going. I'm sorry. Bakoyev, you know, he is a little bit shorter. He does like to shoot a lot, too. But on a guy who's 6'7", it's a little bit harder to. Tresean Gore, on the other hand, you know, he times his counter punches super well, but he lacks a feint game, which I think Bakoyev is going to capitalize on. I could see him easily just Gore throwing a feint or something like that and snatching up a single leg or a double and getting him down, getting good ground control time. And when he's on top, man, I mean, he really goes for it. 16 out of his 20 wins come by finish on the Bakoyev side. I just got to take Bakoyev in this spot. I think he wins by maybe KO or a decision on a long shot, but I got Bakoyev money line. Who you got, Bryson?
I'm also going Bakoyev at minus 600. He'll be our first leg for our parlay of this fight card. Tresean Gore, he times his counter punch as well. Gets controlled on the ground, though. Bad get-up game as well. I don't think he'll give up his neck, though. He has good submission defense. I think if Bakoyev's going to finish this fight, it's going to be a knockout or ground and pound, and ref's just going to have to step in there. Yeah, and he does get cracked easily. He has a bad chin. I mean, after that war with Marco Tulio, that was bad. And then he fought Adolfo Vieira, and Vieira, who's a wrestler, grappler, just stood up and outstruck him, showed a different part of his game. Bakoyev lands 4.49 takedowns per 15 minutes on 45% takedown accuracy. Nasty ground and pound. He just goes for the finish and goes all in when he's up on top of you. Does have some poor head movement at times, but I'm not worried about that with a guy like Gore. Gore 6-4, Bakoyev 20-4. The experience at a high level is just night and day difference. Belgori would be Gore's toughest fight if he fought him, so Bakoyev already has the better competition. He also trains at ATT, which I like, American Top Team, and I think it's just an easy layup for Bakoyev to get a bounce back after the tough knockout finish. So I'm going Bakoyev money line, Bakoyev knockout, and Bakoyev round 2. This one ain't going the distance. All right, guys, the next prelim and the last one we're breaking down for you guys is a featherweight matchup between Jose Delano and Robert Ruchala. Delano's coming in at minus 350. Ruchala is plus 275. I'm going Delano here, and he's our second leg at minus 350. So we got Bakoyev minus 600, Delano minus 350. Delano, in my opinion, was the best guy I saw off Contender Series last year. Has really smooth feint game. Lands 9.73 significant strikes per minute on 65% significant strike accuracy. He also fought Gabriel Santos, who's in the featherweight division in the UFC. We saw him arguably beat Lerone Murphy on his debut on short notice. That was super impressive. Delano controls the center of the octagon very well. Just really, you know, I just like his style a lot. Very striking, decent takedown defense. He also can mix in his wrestling when he needs to. And he's a very high IQ fighter. I think he's well overdue for being in the UFC. But him coming in now is really good. Also 70-inch reach at featherweight. That's great. 5'8", 29 years old. Robert Ruchala, he fought William Gomis on his debut. Looked decent. Has some solid offensive grappling. Throws some solid teep kicks. He doesn't really bring anything to the feet, though, except crazy overhands. He's not throwing great stuff. He lands 2 takedowns per 15 minutes on 33% takedown accuracy. And I just think that's really sloppy. He looked a little gassed, too, in the Gomes fight. And I think Delano's going to come in really good. He's going to be ripping to the body like he does. And I think Delano could honestly knock him out of there in like the 3rd round. I think Ruchala's going to be down 0-2 and have to be desperate throwing some stuff. So give me Delano money line and give me Delano late KO in the 3rd. I think he's going to get him out of there. Who you got, Joey?
Yeah, I'm also going Jose Delano in this spot. Like Bryson said, Ruchala, he kind of just shoots way too much for me, and his takedown accuracy is at 33%. Hate to see that. He also doesn't do well when he goes first in the fight at all, which I feel like Delano will capitalize on no matter what. Also, if he tries to get it to the ground and somehow does, Delano has a great get-up game when taken down. And Ruchala, he wants to engage in the clinch, but, I don't think he's really going to want to engage in the clinch after Delano's body work. It's going to be real hard for him to get anything done there. I got Delano moneyline in this fight and Delano KO on a long shot, but I just think he has the way better all-around game. All right, guys, breaking down the first fight on the main card. We got a featherweight matchup between Tommy McMillan and Milano Zucchini. McMillan at a minus 1,600 favorite and Zucchini at a plus 900 dog. Guys, Tommy McMillan, he trains with Sean O'Malley. He's coming up from the Contender Series. He shows awesome toughness and a great cardio, and his takedown defense is really good at 83%. Zucchini, he hasn't fought in 3 years, and 15 out of 14 fights haven't gone the distance. He's a killer, be killed guy, and, he uses low kicks to set up everything, but other than that, guys, there's not really a lot to his game. I just think McMillan's more well-rounded with 8 first-round finishes, and he has slick jiu-jitsu too, so if it goes to the ground, he is always game there. So I got McMillan money line in this fight, and give me McMillan KO. He's been loving his hands recently. Who you got, Bryson?
Yeah, I'm going Tommy Gunn here. I'm also going to go by sub. He was a 3-time state champion in Montana. He also broke the record, I think, for most takedowns in a season. 8 first-round finishes. Trains at the Red Hawk Academy, with Tim Welch and Sean, like Joey was saying. Lands 7.53 significant strikes per minute on 51% significant strike accuracy. I know some people are going to think he'll want to show his hands off a little more here. But Manalo or whatever, fucking Fettuccine. I don't care about this guy. He ain't winning. He hasn't fought in 3 years, like Joey was saying. 46% significant strike defense. Struggles to find his range. I think McMillan's going to go in there, take him down, and sub him. It's going to be a little quick first-round submission. Get him down, find an arm triangle, get the back. And McMillan's just going to show out. That's why they're putting him to start the main card. And he's only 28 years old, 74-inch reach to 68. I think he's going to come out, show in, show out, and get a quick bonus here. So we're going McMillan money line, McMillan round 1, and McMillan by sub. All right, guys, next up we got a bantamweight matchup between Ethan Ewing versus Rafael Estevam. Estevan's coming in at plus 140, and Ewing's at minus 165. So the big thing for me, guys, in this fight is it's at bantamweight 135. Estevam has only fought at flyweight, let alone he's missed weight like 2 to 3 times out of his 4 fights. He does have really good chain wrestling. He lands 6.01 takedowns per 15 minutes, but on 38% takedown accuracy. He was always gassing at 125. So I know some people will think, well, he's undefeated, he's going to get some weight on him. No, guys. He's not going to be able to handle the power or the pace that Ewing puts on. Ewing looked great against Malcolm Wellmaker. Good footwork with slick feints. Lands 5.67 significant strikes per minute on 52% significant strike accuracy. Shows great athleticism as well. Good gas tank. I just like Ethan Ewing a lot. He came in on short notice against Wellmaker. Now he gets a full camp against a guy who's not even a bantamweight. And I think they got the line right at Ewing being at minus 165. He didn't make our parlay, but I'm definitely going to take a shot at him here, and I like him a lot. Estevam, he throws very low volume in his fights. First fight at bantamweight, not just in the UFC, but his career. And, he does have some good top control, but he doesn't ever have a game plan in there. If he can't get the takedowns, I have no clue what Estevam's going to do against Ewing. And even if he gets him in the first round, holds Ewing down 2 and 3, I don't see Estevam surviving here. So give me Ewing moneyline and Ewing knockout. Who you got, Joey?
Yeah, guys, I'm also going with Ethan Ewing. In his last fight, I actually picked Wellmaker because I thought, coming in on 2 days' notice, who's this guy? But he's showed me many levels to his game. He has an excellent gas take on him. And like Bryson said, Estevam, he loves to shoot, and if he does get you down, I mean, he's all right on top. But also on the Ewing side, he lands 3 takedowns per 15 minutes on a 60% takedown accuracy. So if he wants to go there, I don't see Ewing being scared at all. And then also with the Estevam side, when he is on top, he doesn't look for subs. He doesn't look for finishes. He just stays there. Super low volume. He's not looking for the finish, just looking for ground control time. And at that point, it's just like, what are you doing? I don't know if this is like super correct, but I don't think he's thrown over 40 significant strikes or at all in any of his fights. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. Ewing, going at a guy like Wellmaker, who's going to throw volume at you, going to be in your face, and you beat him on 2 days' notice. I don't see how Estevam gets anything going here unless he takes you down in a round. But like Bryson said, going down a weight class for his first time ever, he might gas himself out like he always does. So I got Ethan Ewing money line and KO as well on a long shot. All right, guys, we're breaking down the featured fight of the night, a light heavyweight matchup between Abdul Rahman Yakayev and Brenson Ribeiro. Ribeiro at a plus 1,000 dog and Yakayev at a minus 2,000 favorite. Guys, Yakayev, he has some nice offensive wrestling, and 7 out of his 8 wins come by finish. Ribeiro, he leaves his chin in the air a lot, and, he has some nasty jiu-jitsu, but he does have an awful takedown defense. He's fought elite UFC comp, but I just think Yakayev is just ready for this. I don't see a way for Ribeiro to win in this spot. Yakayev, he constantly puts pressure on you, and Ribeiro leaving his chin in the air. I could see Yakayev KO round 1 almost. I'd pick round 1 on a long shot, but I got Abdul Rahman Yakayev by KO as my lock on this fight. I just think he's way better than Ribeiro, and he has levels on him, even though he hasn't had as much of UFC comp. So, yeah. Who you got, Bryson?
Yeah, I'm going Yakayev, obviously, but I wouldn't play the minus 2,000. What I would play is round 1, but by sub. I think he's going to sub Ribeiro. I think everyone's on the KO because he's been KO'd his last 2 fights, and Ribeiro has not been sub since 2021. But Yakayev, he's going to just maul him with the constant chain wrestling. And last 2 fights lasted 1 minute and 30 seconds combined for Yakayev. I mean, I think round 1's a lock here, and I think it will be by sub. I think a lot of people are going to get caught up on the KO. Yakayev, very light on his feet, good footwork, constantly putting pressure on you, and he molds you like Khabib does, guys. And I think he's going to run through Ribeiro, too. I love Ribeiro, actually. He's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. He's going to be taller. Plenty of UFC experience. Won as a dog a couple times against, like, Nurgazoyev. That one guy who keeps touching his nose every time. But Ribeiro with 18% takedown defense, give me the sub. I think Yakayev's going to want to show something different with his last 2 being by KO. So, yeah, give me Yakayev round 1 and by sub. Don't play the money line at 2,000. I know he's going to win. I mean, if you want to throw him on a parlay, but you're only going to make like $10. All right, guys, now we got the co-main event of the evening. See, I've been working on it since I saw Bruce. We got a strawweight women's matchup between Verna Jandiroba versus Tabitha Ritchie. Ritchie's coming out minus 105, Jandiroba at minus 115. We got to pick 'em, guys. Jandiroba was the dog earlier in the week, which I thought was crazy seeing the line. And I'm going Jandaroba. I think minus 115 for her is a steal. I think Tabitha Ritchie, she does have solid takedown defense at 78%, but I think she has a real tough time when a real girl can grapple and wrestle with her. And similar to the Jillian Robertson-Lemos fight we saw like 2 weeks ago, I think this is going to play out the exact same. I think Ritchie's going to be the better boxer. She'll throw some good calf kicks, but Jandaroba's eventually going to get her down. To me, she might be the most skillful jiu-jitsu girl in the division besides Jillian maybe. And Jandaroba lands 2.85 takedowns per 15 minutes on 37% takedown accuracy. Not to mention, she's coming off a championship fight against Mackenzie Dern, which that's the highest of the highest level. Not to mention, she's fought people like Lemos. She's fought Lupi Godinez. I'm blanking on another one, but Jandaroba, she's that girl. Always looking for the finish, too. That's what I love about her grappling. She'll go into an arm bar. She'll look for a triangle. She'll flip it into a dart. She gets on top of you, starts laying some elbows. Tabitha, I get it. Her boyfriend's Callum Walsh, the boxer. People think her boxing's super slick. She lands 4.18 significant strikes per minute on 36 significant strike accuracy. I'm sorry, guys, but that's not it. I know she can mix in her own wrestling, but do you really think Richie's going to want to go in Jandaroba's guard? I don't see that happening at all. So give me Jandaroba as the pick. And honestly, she might be able to sub her, or we'll just get a decision, but just play her money line. I think minus 115 is a steal for Jandaroba. And she feints the level changes to set up her overhands as well, or the takedowns. And if she lands a couple of those overhands, Richie's going to not want it at all. Who you got, Joey?
Yeah, guys, this is a close one, and it's going to be a good fight. But I just think Verna Jandaroba, guys, she's a different type of beast. She attempts 1.5 subs per 15 minutes. And like Bryson said, she feints the level change all the time. She's always shooting. She can struggle with the range sometimes, but, I mean, when she does, she always shoots. Whenever she's struggling, she always just goes for the takedown, goes for the clinch, and she's always better than the next girl. Tabitha Ritchie, on the other hand, she has a good gas tank on her, which I'll give her that, and clean low kicks. But honestly, if she mixes in the wrestling, I just think it's going to be terrible for her. I could see Jandaroba being on top, and then Ritchie struggling to find out what to do in the middle of the cage. And Jandaroba, I mean, I could even see her subbing her late, honestly, guys. I got Jandaroba money line and maybe Jandaroba decision or sub, whichever you guys are feeling. But I think the decision is more active here. Ritchie, she has pretty good sub defense a little bit. But if Jandaroba gets her in a tough spot, guys, I mean, that sub is very live. So Jandaroba money line at minus 115 is a steal. Just fought the champ, Mackenzie Dern. I'm taking Jandaroba money line in this fight, and then sub or decision, whichever you guys think. All right, guys, we got the main event of the evening. A lightweight bout between Renato Moicano and Chris Duncan. Moicano coming in at a plus 165 dog, and Duncan at a minus 200 favorite. Guys, Moicano, he has elite level BJJ, and he throws some clean straight shots. But Duncan, he's constantly walking you down. He has the great pressure. He leaves his chin in the air at times, but when he does that, he lands 3.27 takedowns in 15 minutes on a 42% accuracy. He's a different type of beast, guys. When he gets you down, he's always showing the toughness, throwing elbows, and he has great cardio. It's going to be a close one, but for me, I just feel like Moicano dumped everything he had into his last couple fights. He is a good guy. He's getting a little older, though, 36 years old. I wouldn't like to put my money there. So I like Chris Duncan a lot in this spot. I'm going Chris Duncan money line and Chris Duncan KO on a long shot. But who you got, Bryson?
Yeah, so we got two teammates. Duncan having to face another teammate. He fought Mateus Rebecki, American Top Team. Now he has to face Moicano, American Top Team. I like that from Duncan's perspective, as clearly in the Rebecki fight, he showed, I don't care if you're my teammate or we've trained together. I'm willing to die out here. Same with Rebecki. I don't know if Moicano's cut from that same cloth. I know, he needs the money, all this stuff. Moicano has poor takedown defense at 62%. His cardio is fading in the later rounds now that he's older. It showed in that Beneil Dariush fight. I didn't like how he looked there. He lands 1.67 takedowns per 15 minutes on 41% takedown accuracy. So Moicano's not showing like this crazy wrestling style or crazy good wrestling in terms of finding them. He has a good single leg and he'll throw some trips. Got a good Muay Thai game. Chris Duncan, though, man, he's a dog. He's making huge improvements in the boxing, more technical, and he likes a dogfight too. Like Joey said, does leave the chin in there at times, but he's shown he's super resilient. He's tough. He lands 5.02 significant strikes per minute on 46% significant strike accuracy. I just like Duncan being the younger guy by 4 years too. 15-2, you know, Duncan's making a lot of improvements. I did see he's talking about he might finish Moicano in the later rounds or this goes all 5. I don't see that happening. I see Duncan knocking him out 2 or 3, and I see it not going the distance. Like what Joey was saying, Duncan throws some nasty knees and elbows as well. And I just think Duncan's more of the dog. Younger guy, less baggage, great cardio. He showed in the Rebecca fight, and that was just a 3-rounder going crazy. He probably could have won another 2 if he really needed to. I think the weight cut's only getting tougher on Moicano, and I think it's going to be real rough. I think he's going to try to wrestle early, and if he doesn't get that success, I think it's going to be a long night for Moicano if this thing stands on the feet. So give me Duncan moneyline and give me a KO round 2, 3. And guys, my bad, I forgot. Duncan's going to be our last leg of the parlay at minus 200. So the first leg, we got Bakoyev minus 600, Delano minus 350, and to finish it off, we got the boy CD, Chris Duncan at minus 200. Lock it in. We're coming back after that Seattle loss. We're pissed we didn't get it in person.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Rain City MMA. We appreciate all the support, the likes, subscribes, any comment, interaction with our video. We appreciate. We're sorry we didn't hit last week for you guys, but this week we're bouncing back big. We got a 3-leg parlay cooked up for you. And first, we got Bakoyev at minus 600. Second leg, Delano at minus 350. And lastly, we got Duncan at minus 200. Lock it in, and we'll see you at the cash counter. Let's go.